Oh, let's understand the trauma and the cycle, the whole cycle of harm. First things first, trauma never excuses behavior, but it explains it a lot. Adverse childhood experience study revealed that children who face neglect or violence are 3 times more likely to become perpetrators as adults. That's very alarming. And therefore, we're not supposed to be neglecting our children, parents, guardians. Let's not neglect our children. Let us show them love. Let them experience the love in the most comfortable and human way possible. I believe we have had or even actually read that in many African communities, silence around pain and toxic masculinity teaches the male child, right? The male person, the male individual to bury the emotions until they explode as aggression. And that's a whole narrative. That's a whole topic that we need to be discussing because men are supposed to open up no matter what. You just have to, like, you don't have to feel so much ashamed to share anything. We're together. So, on to clearly whatever trauma counselor would do. A trauma counselor would ask, what happened to you? Okay. Sorry. The trauma informed counselor won't ask, what's wrong with you? No, we don't want to know what's wrong with you. We just want to understand what actually happened to you. Because we believe in the power of such beautiful questions. The question alone can open a whole door to self-awareness, a whole can of worms, okay? Trying to understand the distorted thought patterns. Aha! Moving swiftly to our evidence-based interventions. Why do we need evidence-based interventions? Because supporting perpetrators require proper structured evidence-based methods. Think about restorative justice models. Restorative justice models would actually create safe space for the offender and the victims. To do what? To engage in healing dialogue. And yes, research has it that the models have been effective from South Africa, from South Africa's correctional programs to Kenya, Kenya Gender-Based Violence Recovery Centers. We have group therapy. Group therapy would encourage accountability and shared learning. We talked about cognitive distortions, and now here we bring the cognitive behavioral therapy, which would actually help the perpetrator reframe his or her distorted thinking and also teach anger control. And then we also have the motivational interviewing, which would build inner motivation for genuine change. In this case, accountability has taken place and now there's total desire to be a better version of him or herself. Now let's understand the ethical and emotional weight. Working with perpetrators, trust me, challenges every part of your value system. You must manage your own triggers, seek supervision, protect your emotional boundaries at all costs. Why? Because ethics demand that we never justify the act. We have to stay culturally sensitive. We always have to protect the victims. So, in as much as we are trying to do all these things, we're supposed to understand that change is very much possible, but it takes time. It actually takes time. Counselors must hold both faith in humanity and realism about behavior. How then are we going to measure transformation after all this evidence-based intervention? True transformation isn't seen in apologies, but in patterns. Again, you're supposed to understand that apologies, more often than not, they are theoretical. But now we need transformation, and transformation requires that accountability steps in, and then now we actually go step by step, like we follow the correct patterns. So it's actually when a person decides to own up their actions without being forced, okay, when they stay accountable even when angry, when empathy becomes what? So natural. Empathy has to come out naturally. So if it is not coming out naturally, there is there is something that needs to be worked on, yes, probably check on the unfinished business that you have. And so according to Project Mirabel, the study found out that individuals completing counseling showed less violence and greater emotional intelligence. And that's the power of guided transformation. Healing as a ripple effect. So when one person heals, what happens? The healing ripples outward. Okay? So a man who once hurt his family learns to model gentleness to his sons, right? A woman who once manipulated others now does what? Teaches her daughters respect. You see? And now every healed person becomes a seed of peace in their community. Never underestimate what one heart can actually do. And now, even as we conclude, there is always call to action. No one heals alone. Okay, no one heals alone. To the beloved survivor, know that your healing story can inspire someone else to change. I'd love us to read together. To the counselor, hold both courage and compassion. To the community leader, build systems that heal and not destroy. And if at all you've ever caused harm, seek help. Healing begins the moment you admit the truth. Because the cycle of harm breaks the day someone chooses to say, it ends with me. Yes, thank you so much, Team Child Abuse Prevention Movement, for having me on board. Special shout out to every person who tuned in and who's going to watch. I hope we get to understand this and contribute more to this entire conversation. Special shout out to Esther and Veronica for the power of networking as well. And yes, feel free to inquire or reach out to me on LinkedIn at Okoth Achieng, as well as on my email at obeverlyjoy@gmail.com. Thank you.